Hello everyone, I'm Rhoda and welcome to Rhoda Cards. Today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this card. This is called a bridge fold card. It folds down and will fit in a regular A2, which would be a 5.5 by 4 1/4 envelope. And then when the person gets that, it pops up and it sits up. So you can set it up to display. And that's what I'm going to show you how to make today. So let me show you what you're going to need. We're going to need a base, and you can use whatever color, cardstock you want to use for a base. And the base is 8 by 4 1/4, and then we're going to score it. Now, when you cut your base, this is a regular 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. Instead of cutting it in the middle this way, you're going to turn it longwise and cut it this way. So let me go ahead and do that. Just take your paper trimmer. We're going to put it in the paper trimmer this way, and we're going to cut it at 4 1/4. Now, this is 11 inches. It's 4 1/4 by 11 inches in length. We don't need 11 inches, we need 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn it this way, and I'm going to cut off 3 inches. So there is our base, which is 8 inches by 4 1/4. Now we're going to score this. I'll get my scoring board out here. This is the scoring board, and we are going to score this. Now we're going to score it at 1 1/4, 2 1/2, 5 1/2, and 6 3/4. So our base is 8 inches long, 4 1/4 inches wide, and we score it at 1 1/4, 2 1/2, 5 1/2, and 6 3/4. So that's our scoring. So now we have something that looks like this. You can see the score lines. Hopefully you can see the score lines here. We're going to decorate this before we fold it, because it's easier to decorate it before we fold it. Now, what we're going to need to decorate this is some cardstock and some paper. So we have a piece of cardstock that is 4 1/8 by 2 7/8, and we have cardstock that is 4 1/8 by 1 1/8, and you are going to need 4 of these. These are the panels for the side, so we need 4 of these, and these are going to go on these 4 panels there. So that's the cardstock. Your paper is going to be 4 by 2 3/4. We need 1 piece of that. And then we need 4 pieces that are 4 inches by 1 inch. Again, we need 4 of these. They're going to layer on top of that cardstock there. Now let me show you the stamp set that I'm using for this. I'm using the Joyful Sunflower. These stamps are by Close to My Heart, and they come with thin cuts. So you can get the stamps and the thin cuts. And this is what I'm using today with this card. So I used the fence stamp here to create the fence down here at the bottom. So what I did was I stamped this on what's called the bridge. The bridge part is the piece that connects the two ends of your card here so that you can fold down and then will stand up and hold the card together. Now with other cards you can keep this piece complete, and so it's kind of sturdy to hold that card together, but that piece is going to be 5.5. Now I made this 1.5 inches because of the size of the fence. That's why I made it 1.5 inches. You can make it in 1 inch, you can make it 1.25. I just did it 1.5 so I could do that fence. And so what I did was I took that stamp, the fence stamp, and I stamped it on here twice because the stamp isn't 5.5 inches. So I just stamped it on here twice, right close together. And then I ran that through with the dies, and I got that, I had them cut out. Now it cuts out in 2 pieces. And I went ahead and did this off camera because it took me a little bit of time. But you cut these 2 pieces, and when you cut the fence out, you have these little squares that cut out. So I took a couple of those squares and I cut them to fit. And when I flipped this over, I put the 2 sections of the fence together and then just glued these pieces on the back. And that put the fence together. Now we don't need to score this or anything. I just glued it together because it's kind of flimsy. And if you want to, you could run this through the machine again and get a second one, and then just glue them on top of each other to make it a little more sturdy if you wanted to do that. But here's another one that I did. I stamped it twice, die cut both of them out, and then I just put the ends together and then glued this little piece of cardstock on the back to hold the 2 pieces together. So that's what I did with that. So that's what this is. This is the bridge piece. It's 5.5, and this particular one is 1.5 inches for the fence. So I made the fence. Now I also put a greeting on here, and my greeting is on a small piece of cardstock. It was just a scrap piece of cardstock, and it's 1.5 inches by 1 inch, and that's the Sending Sunshine Your Way greeting. It was in the stamp set, and so I just decided to use that on my card. You also will need a piece of acetate, and I have a strip here. I have this, you probably can't see it on the camera, but I have this little strip of acetate here. It's just a small strip, a piece that I had, a scrap piece, and I'm going to use this for the butterfly and the dragonfly so that they float. And then I stamped the sunflowers from the stamp set. There's 3 different flowers in the stamp set, and I just stamped all 3 of them and die cut them out. I used shimmer brushes to color the sunflowers. I like using shimmer brushes a lot instead of just markers and or pencils for coloring. I really like to use these shimmer brushes. Close to My Heart sells these, and they come in a variety of colors. So I use these 3 colors to color in my sunflower. Toffee, Julep, and Sundance. Toffee and Sundance are still available, but Julep was an in color of the year, and it is no longer available. But I really like the color to color my sunflowers. So using my shimmer brushes, there's glitter inside with the color, so it makes the whatever you color with these, it gives it a shimmer to it. It's kind of subtle, but it's really pretty when you see it. So I just used these colors and just colored in my sunflowers. And I'll just kind of show you a little bit of how I did this. I'm not going to color the whole thing. Takes a bit of time to do all the coloring, so I just wanted to show you a little bit of how I use the shimmer brushes. They're kind of like watercolor brushes. You can use shimmer brushes on top of another color if you wanted to color something with markers, or if you wanted to use watercolor pencils, you could do that. You can even ink things and then use shimmer brushes. You can also just use shimmer brushes on top of regular paper, however you wanted to do it. But the shimmer brushes come in a variety of colors, so you don't actually have to color underneath the brush. You can just use whatever color you want to use, and it adds the shimmer all at the same time, instead of having to color it and then go back over with the brush. You can do that, but you can just save yourself a step and color with the colors and not have to go back over it with the shimmer brush, because you've got the color and the shimmer all in one. So this is kind of how I colored these sunflowers. I just used the shimmer brushes and just colored them in. And I used all three of the sunflowers that were in the stamp set. Two of them are just, they're mirror images of each other. One has the sunflower going one way, and the other one has it going the other direction, so it's just a mirror image. And that's how I did it. So I used these three colors and colored in my sunflowers. And then I used my Cuttlebug and I cut them out. So I did that ahead of time, off camera, and I cut these three out. Now I've also used a small stamp set from Close to My Heart, and I used the butterfly and the dragonfly. And I did the same thing with them. I colored them, and with the butterfly I added a little orange and red to it. And then I fussy cut these out, and we're going to put them on the card here, and I will show you how we do that. So we've got all the pieces together now, so I can go ahead and start putting this together and show you how to put all this together. So these pieces are layered on top of the cardstock pieces, and then we put them on the card base. So let's go ahead and do that. I just use tape runner. You can use liquid glue, you can use the tear tape, whatever type of glue that you like to use. And we just layer these on here. While I'm doing this, you can look down below the video and hit the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel, and you'll get notifications when I upload videos. I have several other videos that you can go back and take a look at. I like to do fancy different types of cards. I like fancy folds, fun folds. I like interactive cards, cards that do things. I like to make it interesting and unique and different. So take a little bit and go back and look at the other videos that I've done. If you hit the bell, the little bell next to the subscribe button below, you will get a notification when I upload new videos. You can take a look at the videos that I put out. Now I'm going to just take this, this piece here is going to layer right here in the middle. And then these pieces are going to go along the side. You can use whatever color you want. This type of card is good for all different things. Just ran out of tape runner. Got another one here. You can make all different kinds of cards with the bridge fold. It's pretty neat. It's nice to be able to set them up so people can display your cards. It's got a neat little aspect to it. So we add these 4 panels along the side. Okay, those are our 4 panels. Now we're going to fold this before we add any more to it. And you get your bone folder out and fold it real good. The first 2 from the inside are going to fold towards the middle. Okay, so it's going to go towards the middle, and then these outside ones are going to fold out. So get the bone folder, crease those, and same thing for this side. The inside is going to fold in and then out. So it's going to look like that. All right, so in and out, in and out. Okay, so that's how it's going to look. Then I'm going to pull them back open while I decorate, and I'm going to use my sunflowers. These not exactly mirror images, but you see the sunflower, this one's on this side and this one's on that side. So what I did was I put that one on that side and that one on that side. Now I'm going to use liquid glue on these because you don't want to put glue, cover the whole area of the sunflower in glue, because it's going to stick out over this side if you put it on that way, and it won't fit in the envelope. So when you decorate these, make sure that your decorations sit inside these edges, okay? Because if they sit outside the edges here, it's not going to go in the envelope. So when I glue these down, I'm going to glue them so that the flowers and the leaves are inside the edge here on both sides. So you don't want to glue the pieces that are going to hang over on the inside, because then it will glue the card shut. So for this one, we're only going to put glue from here over. I'm not going to glue on the back of this sunflower or the leaves. So we're just going to put glue on this side. And we'll put this down. And then the sunflower is going to hang over the edge there. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. It's going to set over a little bit so that the sunflower and the leaves are on inside the edge. Okay, so we don't want to glue these leaves in that side of the sunflower. So we're going to glue this side. And then we'll set this here. Make sure all the edges are inside there. And glue that down. Alright, now I'm going to add the fence. And the fence I'm going to put down here at the end and line up the edges of the fence with the edge of the card here, and line up the edge of the fence down here with the cardstock at the bottom. Again, you don't want to put glue past this edge here, because that's where the card is going to fold. Okay, that card is going to fold that way. So you don't want to put glue past this edge. So we're just going to glue this side. And I use liquid glue because it's a little stronger. And with the bridge fold, with whoever you give it to, they're probably going to want to open it and close it a few times. So you want to make sure it glues and holds really tight so that it doesn't come loose. when they open and close it. So you want to make sure that it holds really good. And liquid glue holds really good. Adhesive, this particular adhesive would come over the edges of the fence and they would be sticky all over. So I don't want that. I don't want it to stick where I don't want it to stick. Only where I want it to. Now on this side we're going to glue the fence up to here. But again, we don't want to glue past that fold there because then the card won't open correctly. So we're just going to put glue on this side of the fence. And then again, I just set it down and line it up with the bottom of the cardstock there. And then just hold it down for a few seconds. And put my pin in my glue while I'm holding that down. If I can, I might not be able to. There we go. I'm just holding this down to hold so it'll set. All right. You might have to give this another little fold to get it to set up, but there's that. There we go. Now this sunflower I had put right down at the bottom, kind of like right behind. I took my scissors after I had stamped it and I colored it and I cut it out. I just took my scissors and I cut the stem off because I'm just going to have it set right down at the bottom. And you can do this before you add your fence, but I didn't, so I'm going to add it now. And I did use tape runner on this. And then I just stuck it right in the edge here. And stuck it right down in the middle. Same thing with the sentiment. Sending sunshine your way. I'm going to set that right up there. Again, you can do this before you add your fence or your bridge to it. I didn't, so I'm going to add it now. So there's the sentiment. Now we're going to add the butterfly and the dragonfly. And that's what the little piece of acetate is for. I just cut it in half. And we're going to use, I'm going to use glue dots to stick the butterfly and the dragonfly to the acetate. I use these little tiny micro glue dots. And I'm going to take the butterfly and I'm going to stick the butterfly on the acetate. I'm just going to kind of tilt the butterfly a little bit, just so it's kind of at a little tilt. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the dragonfly. Get a little glue dot on here and then stick him on the acetate. Be careful when you stick him on the acetate that his little head and wing, the acetate doesn't come past his head, because then you can see it. I mean, you can see it anyway, but if you just put it down below his head, you can see it on the back that it's below his head, so when you attach it to the fence, it doesn't stick out above his head. I did that the first time and it looked kind of funny. So anyway, so there's those two, and I'm going to use a glue dot to attach them to the fence. Now this little piece where I attach the two ends of the fence together, it's a little bit wider there, so I can use a little bit larger glue dot for this particular one for the butterfly. I'm going to put the butterfly on that side, and you can decide wherever you want to put it. I just use a mini glue dot for the butterfly, and then I'm going to stick him right up here. Now be careful for the flower, the sunflower's leaf, and you can just attach that however you want, and he's kind of floating there. And then the same thing for the dragonfly. However, the dragonfly is going to be attached to the fence here, so I'm going to have to use a smaller glue dot because it's a smaller fence. And since it's a very tiny glue dot, I'm going to use two of them because I want it to hold. And they're very tiny, and that fence is very tiny. So I'm going to use 2. Make sure I line them up so that they go on the fence in the right way. And then I'm just going to take that and I'm going to stick it on the fence. Hold it down. And there is the dragonfly. And you can decide whether you want the butterfly over it, or you can move it if you want to move it over just a little bit so he's not in with the leaf, however you want to do it. Might move that just a little bit. And then when you push it, it'll fold flat so you can put it in the envelope, and then it'll pop back up and set up when you're ready to use it. So that's the one that we just made, and here's the one that I made earlier. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this encourages you to make a bridge fold card. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't, subscribe to my channel and click the bell and get all the notifications when my videos come out. If you're interested in any of these products with close to my heart, I will list them in the description below the video. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Bye.